this Autism Talks. Okay, so today we're going to talk about, we talked about this in my last video. So today we're going to talk about autism, okay? So that's the whole, Autism Talks, autism feed. Okay, so, I don't know if you're aware of this, but, so I'm not really a lot on social media, but my mum is, okay? So, there's a thing now, I think my mum talked to me about this previously, okay? I think, I'm not quite sure, I can't remember, but yeah, but nowadays, people are saying, like to get attention or to get perks and stuff of being a big disability. Now people are saying, I'm on autism, I have autism, yeah. Like, what the heck? You don't have autism. Firstly, an autism person will not say what you just said right now, obviously. No, thank you. But I think, like I said, there's a blur line between autism because people are acting that they have a disability. People are acting that they have autism, which I don't. And it's ridiculous because I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, treat someone who has autism, not treat someone because they don't have autism. Sort of like, because a while ago I got some, I would say money, but, I got some money, right? I'm not going to tell you where from, that's all I got to say, for YouTube purposes, but, I got money rewarded to me, because of something really, not really something bad happened, but obviously, they rewarded me some money, and we would try to get that money as well. And they said, are you autistic? And I'm like, yeah. And they said, we can't give you no money. I'm like, why not? Because I'm autistic? And my mum said, she said that you would give a normal person money. What would they do? Drink alcohol and get drugs. And you can't, give that to an autistic person because they don't know what right from wrong is. So, that's ridiculous. So, yeah. So, there's still a blur line today when it comes to autism. I don't know if you have a relatability to that, but obviously, it sucks. It sucks, yeah, because that money was rewarded to me, and it's like, why? Like, why? Like, you would give a normal person, if I was a normal person, I would just, hypothetically speaking, I would just, buy booze and drugs and alcohol, which I'm not, but that's hypothetically. But if you get that to a normal person, they're going to do that anyway. So why? Yeah, it's weird. It's weird what people think of you, basically, as well. And that's awful to think about because, and it's like, what? So you're going to give a normal person money and they're going to blow it off and you're not going to give me any. So that's just awful. It's an awful thing to go through, but we spent it anyway, but we had to, take a photo of what we bought, so, yeah. But anyway, besides that, yeah, so, like I said, there's a blurred line between autism still. Like, a lot of people don't know what it is. A lot of people don't know what it is, obviously. People frown upon autism a little bit, as well, to a degree. I remember this one time, I don't know if I told you this story, I might have in my other Autism Talks. One time there was this person at school, okay? And she was a girl, obviously, and she said autism, like, how dare you say that? And I told my mom, that's an awful thing to say. Like, why would you say to an autistic person, F that, even though you have that? It's like, F, there's this thing that people have on their sticker cards, like, F cancer. Why would you do that? That's so sad, but I guess it's like, F the illness, you know what I mean? So, and looking back at that, this is awful. And I think one of my friends told the teacher about that as well, because that's just an awful thing to say to someone, who have that as well. So I've had experiences where it's like, you can't say that to someone who has autism. Like, that's awful. It's like F ADHD, F Asperger's, F something else. So it's an awful thing to say. So yeah, it's just hard. It's an awful thing to say, to someone to say something like that to you, that you have autism as well. It's very hard. But yeah. Kind of for experience. But yeah, but now people are saying, I think people are just, want the rewards and the perks of having autism. And now people are saying, like, my child, is not developed. I guess they have autism. But it doesn't work like that. Hang on, back up. Pull on the brakes for a sec. That doesn't work like that, obviously. It doesn't work like that, I think your parent kind of knows if you have autism, to be honest with you. Like, you kind of know, okay? So you can't just say, my child's not early developed, obviously, and I think they have autism. But, you can't say that. Like, why you can't say that just because they're a kid? It's like saying nowadays, it's like people can choose between It's like saying people could choose between a male and a female and like, all right, you want to be a female? You get it. Like, for a male, you can do it. But it's like, you know, but that's so young, you know? And I feel like if you're older, if you want to be a male and change it to a female, that's fine if you're older. But, like, when you're a kid, it's like, why? Like, why put that upon the kid? And unfortunately, when it comes to surgery like that, you can't, it's not irreversible, so you can't go back. And it's not fair to say to your child, like, if you treat them like a boy or treat them like a girl and they change their persona because you treat them that way, that doesn't make it any less better. So it's just awful, you know? I remember a while ago, I think someone told me that, you know, nowadays, I don't know nowadays, but... So yeah, so it's sort of like that. But yeah, but it's just crazy, you know. Like, what's next? Like, people are going to say, oh, I've got a mental illness, hashtag this, hashtag that. So it's like, it's ridiculous. Like, you know, like, what? Like, what's next? People are going to say, oh, I got ADHD, hashtag this. You know, it's stupid, really stupid what people do out there. But yeah. But I was going to say before, I think this is in America. I think I heard this was in America. I'm not sure if this is true or not, but this happened a while ago. So yeah, so there's a thing now. You know, when you go to toilets, right? There's a male and female toilet, right? And now if you're changed to a male, you can go to the male toilet. So like, why? Like, dude, it's ridiculous. Like, there's also like, you know, I think in some countries they have like a female and male toilet. I'm like, wait a second, you can't do that. Like, you know, a boy toilet is different to a girl toilet, right? So why have it in the same cubicle, am I right? It's like so weird. I know this is embarrassing. I've actually been to a boy cubicle before. Not by choice. I used to go to my dad's a lot, and I remember, like, I couldn't go to the girls' bathroom alone at the time because I was so little, so I went to the boys' bathroom with them. But yeah, but that's different, and my mom said, I don't understand why your dad couldn't just take you to the girls' toilet, and I'm like, I don't know, whatever. So yeah, as well, it might be embarrassing, but, you know, that's what happened. You know, because at an early age, you would expect a little girl to, you know, to see a boy toileting, and it's like, wait a second. I thought, that's too much. Like, you see those feeds in the male toilets, they have those too. So, you know, it's weird to go into a male toilet. They have normal toilets, but it's weird that you see males doing their business, and you just go into a cubicle and an actual male toilet. It's so weird, like, you know. But I was a lot younger back then, as well. Yeah, so that's an embarrassing story, but it did happen, you know, but that was when I was a lot younger and stuff, and my mom was like, I don't understand why you could just take you to the girls' toilet, so, yeah, because I was a girl, obviously, and a girl doesn't want to see a guy doing their business, right? Yeah, so I think now they have toilets where it's, like, male and female, but same cubicle, like, please don't do that, you know, obviously, don't do that, don't expose your kids to that, obviously. You know, as a little girl, you know, I would see other males in the toilets, obviously. And even though I was a little girl, like, I was like, this is not right. Like, I should have been here. Like, what? I think isn't there a law saying, like, you can't go into the boys' toilets or the girls' toilets? I think there's a law. I think at school there was some kind of law that you could go into the girls' toilets or the boys' toilets. And that's fair, because you know what about going to the girls' toilets, right? So, yeah. From experience, but, yeah, but that was when I was really little and stuff like that, and couldn't go by myself, obviously. So that was different. Now when I'm older, I can go to the girls' toilets as well, by myself. Like I'm a young lady now, by myself. So yeah, as well. So yeah. So anyway, I just want to say that funny story because it actually did happen. I think true. So yeah. But yeah, but anyway, what was I saying? Oh, right, autism. We got totally off track talking about, like, cubicles and stuff like that. So yeah, so, you know, so there's even that. Like, you can choose to be male and female. Like, don't pressure your kid to be, you know, that. Like, if you're older, I understand. Like, with the change of gender, I totally understand that. But when you're little, don't pressure your kids on that because they have no idea what you're talking about. So yeah, but I guess parents are like, oh, you know, we'll change you into a boy, like wear boy clothing and stuff like that, and you like treat them like that, and they become that, and they insert themselves as that, and that's not good on the child as well, to a degree as well. So it's very bad. Please don't do that, parents, please. don't do that. It's really bad. Like, the world's got crazy. The world is a crazy place and stuff like that. But yeah, but if you're older, I understand it. But if you're younger, don't pressure your kids into doing that because it's not great. You know, some parents would do that, actually. Some parents would do that, but other parents are like, no, don't do that. So yeah. So like I said, autism, you know, people are pretending to have autism, people are pretending to do this, do that, and I'm like, wait a second, talk to an actual autism expert, thank you very much, instead of saying, oh, you got hashtag autism, oh, you got hashtag mental illness, hooray! It's not hooray. You know, like, it's awful, like, someone having a mental illness or a disease is actually really bad. It's actually really awful, so you don't want to put that on social media and say, oh, I got a disease, hashtag, like, wait a second, that's awful. Like, say, like, oh, like, cancer, and that's really awful, too. Like, that's a terrible thing to do. But, yeah, you know, people are, you know, now they want the perks of being autistic, and it's so hard for us people to get the help and support we need because of that. So, I think they should do something about that, because it's nuts. You know, it's absolutely nuts to reward someone who, like I said earlier on my story, I said, I was rewarding that money for something that happened to me a long time ago, and they didn't give it to me because I was autistic. But you see, other people, you know, thank you to pretend that, and you would give them the money, and you would give them the perks because they're autistic, but they're not, and it's like so stupid, it's so weird at that time. So you get what I mean when I say that. So yeah, so that's all the time, guys. Make sure to like, but yeah, but that's my story, obviously, you know, as well, to a degree as well. So that's all, guys. Alright, guys, make sure to like, subscribe to Miller's with video, guys.